All right. Well, my name is Jennifer Cassinson with Build Exact, and we're really thrilled to have Kurt Hegetschweiler here with us today, who is an author and the founder of Builders Coach. He's an expert, and because he brings his past experience to the table, he has his goal is to transform the building industry. So he's got big goals, he's got big aspirations, and you're part of that. So he's going to share some of his expert tips with you today to help you understand how to reimagine your business and be more profitable. So Kurt, thank you so much for joining us. And just sort of lay of the land, we're going to ask you guys to submit your questions as you have them, and we can interrupt Kurt and we can get your questions answered right away. So just enter your questions in the chat or in the Q&A section, and we'll do that. So thanks again, Kurt, for joining us, and it's over to you.
You're welcome, Jen. Thank you so much. Thank you to you, Jennifer, and Build Exact for hosting this webinar. And it's great to be collaborating with businesses and a business like yours that is proactive with builders business education. So guys, we're going to jump straight in. I understand how valuable your time is, and taking the time out to watch this live, or if you're watching the recording, I'm sure that you want to make sure you get value. So let me get crystal clear from the outset. What we're going to be covering today is how you can charge for quotes. Okay. And from my experience, sales is the biggest inefficiency in this industry, right? This is where you waste the most amount of time and energy. And with what I do as a specialist business coach for builders is to help builders implement best practice processes. And this would be one of the single most important processes that we put in place early on in our one-on-one coaching engagement with builders to ensure that they free up time and money quickly. And then as you free up time, you can then use that time to invest it in other areas of the business. And that's how you get a leg up and get more control of your business, which is what you're trying to do, right? When you're putting processes in place. And that allows you to be more proactive than reactive. A lot of the builders out there, like, there's so many moving parts. There's so much you guys need to do on site in the office every day that, it's difficult to stay on top of things at the best of times, but there is a process for how you can do that, for how you can gain, more control again, but better efficiency, and efficiency lends itself to profitability. So this process I'm going to share with you today is possibly the single most powerful that we use with our private clients. Now, some of you might be thinking, who the hell are you to tell me how I run my business? So just quick, I don't want to go through like a whole bio, but I've co-authored a couple of books. This is what a book that I wrote myself. It's called $1 Million Builder. It sounds clickbaity. It's not. We've got about 100 or so builders who are netting $1 million, turning over 6 mil, 25 gross margin, overheads of $500,000, and in what we call a 7-figure club. And that's after paying all expenses, including a wage to themselves of around $200,000. And that 7-figure result, $1 million, and this is in a 12-month period, is before tax. And I always say, if you're working with me, my job is to give you a tax problem. And then the way to offset that is to do some spec homes, to buy some real estate. And that's the best business model, guys, that I've ever seen. It's having a consistent flow of quality client work, good margin, good cash flow, and then a development arm as well. And that helps you optimize your profit, cash flow, and workflow. You probably had a job fall over at the 11th hour. The way to offset that is if you land banking, and then when that happens, you start one of your own developments, you can keep your crew running. So what I want to do is, I'm not trying to sell this book to you. I've done webinars before. People are like, hey, this guy's trying to promote his book. I'm not doing that. I will send you a free paperback copy. I'll cover postage and handling. If you just jump on this QR code, you can get a digital copy right now. It's also on Audible for those of you that haven't got time to sit and read. I certainly don't. These days, I listen to more books than anything else. But jump on that. Even if you listen to the recording, I don't care if it's 12 months from now, you can jump on here and we'll send you a copy. No strings attached. Most of the builders that we help, we don't actually get to meet. And Jen said, yeah, I'm trying to convert or transform the building industry while doing it one builder at a time. All right, so I just want to zoom out for a sec before we dive into the specifics of the sales process that we use with our private clients. So whether you have a very small operation, it's just yourself and a few subcontractors, or you employ 50 people, this profit wheel is going to be relevant to you. Okay, so these are the 10 areas. I just want to emphasize that sales is obviously a very important part of the business, and putting best practice processes in place for your sales is going to have a impact early on, again, to free up time and money. But there are other very important areas, right? And marketing would be what we consider the holy grail. And we'll touch on the importance of marketing as it relates to sales. But just know today we're going to be talking about sales specifically. And but these are the areas that we work with our builders on: their strategy, marketing, capital. Don't have to tell you how important working capital is, sales, which we'll get into today, job delivery, administration, finance, systems, which incorporates everything. Your systems for your sales, that's a system, your marketing systems, your Instagram, your Meta, house, whatever else you're using, website, and then your offline vehicle signage, start signs, banners, brochures, flyers, all that. That's part of your marketing system. And then your job descriptions, KPIs for your team. Those are systems as well. So I just want to clarify that. And then there's your leadership, and that's all about you making decisions. The hallmark of leadership is decision making. So one of the most important decisions you can make for your business success, which ultimately feeds your lifestyle and your family, is the decision to work on your business. Okay, if you can just make that decision to consistently work on your business and then on yourself as well as the leader of your business will never outgrow your leadership. So I just want to get that in before we move forward. There's a lot of complexity. Once you unpack all these different areas of your business, there's a lot to do. Like as a small business owner, um, there's no surprise that 80% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. And then of the 20 that make it through, 80% of them fail in the second five. And it's even higher. Those numbers are even higher in construction because of all the complexity and all the ways things can go wrong. So how do you gain control? So just very quickly, what we do is use the Pareto principle or 80-20 rule. So 20% of the systems in this profit wheel that you're looking at will give you 80% of your results. And what are the results? Well, profit, workflow, cash flow. So that's how we start gaining control. And especially with guys that have no systems. If you've got no systems in place, where do you start? How do you start gaining control? Well, it's dominating that 20%, getting that 20% of systems in place, and then that gives you a leg up, and then you can move forward from there. So before I get into the specifics of our sales process and the 6 steps, it's a 6-step sales process, I want to just touch on mindset. Now, sales has a bad rap with a lot of people, not everyone, but I'll ask you, what do you think of when I say the word salesperson? What's the first thing that springs to mind? A lot of people think of, car salesman, telemarketer. And so it's got a negative connotation. I want you to know that you are not selling anything. The sales process I'm going to share with you is not about you trying to sell yourself or sell your service to anyone out there. What you are, and this is a very important mindset distinction that I want to make. You are a solution provider. And the sales process is a deselection process. All you're trying to establish with the people who come your way is, are they a good fit for you and your business? All right. You provide a certain solution. Maybe you're a custom home builder, maybe you're a remodeler, you do renovations, whatever it is. If you do that exceptionally well, you need to just be communicating that to people. That's marketing. And we'll get into that a little bit earlier, because marketing is really, later. Marketing is really selling in advance. All right. So you want to be communicating your specialty. It's really important that you have a specialty and decide on, what is the specific area of building that you want to dominate. And if you do that well, if you want to decide what it is, and then you keep improving and adding more value, then you're going to be making more money, because value adding is one of the first principles of wealth creation, right? So it starts by you deciding on the specialty and then seeing yourself as a solution provider, and then just, establishing, is this person the right fit? Can I help them? If you can't, that's okay. And then you want to have a process for deselecting or moving them on. Okay. And that's what we're going to be covering off. All right. Now, if you don't know, if you feel uncomfortable deselecting people, so people are coming at you, or maybe you don't have enough people coming, inquiring. So I'm assuming most of you get inquiries via email or phone. If you don't have enough of those coming through, you're going to feel very uncomfortable saying no to people. Okay. And we'll get into the process for saying no later, but that just screams marketing problem. All right. So you need to make sure that you have enough inquiry coming through for you to be able to deselect. But the mindset shift is you're a solution provider. The second one is that you are the prize. Too many builders see their clients as the prize, and a lot of you are probably people pleasers. You're trying to please and feel that that's the way that you're going to add value, is by trying to please people and give them whatever they want. And the reality is, if that's your approach, then your clients are going to be controlling you. And let's face it, that is not the way to start a relationship, right? You are the expert. You have a lot of value that you bring to the table. So you need to, one, recognize that, and then two, take control and lead people through your process. So you need to have a process, obviously, in order to do that. And then, you want to use that process consistently well and take people through it. So everyone that comes to your business has the same experience. And then you will come across as professional, organized, process driven, and that sets, or comes across as the best possible first impression that you can make with people. Okay. The sales process I'm going to share with you today is the best possible first impression for your AAA grade blue chip clients. And it's also repulsive to tire kickers. So anyone who's a time waster, who's coming at you, who's not a good fit, is going to be repulsed by this process. But you need to see yourself as the prize and see yourself as a solution provider. Okay. Really, really important. Don't try and people please. If you can do that, though, if you can see yourself as a solution provider, see yourself as a prize, recognize your value, then yes, you can add as much value as you want within that framework. Okay. The other thing I want to touch on before we get into the specifics of the process is it's your process, not theirs. Okay. So again, you leading them through your process, and recognize that your process is engineered to give them the best possible result. So if you have someone who you're trying to help as a solution provider, you're taking them through your process and they don't like it, well, then they're not a good fit, and that disqualifies them. And that really is the number one rule for sales, right? The golden rule: qualify, qualify, qualify. The last thing you want to do, and the reason most builders waste time, is they're speaking to someone who's not a good fit. The person's got beer money, champagne taste, or they're looking to get something done that you don't really specialize in. It's outside of your wheelhouse. So you need to, within the framework of being the prize and having a process and recognizing yourself as a solution provider, is eject people as quickly as possible. You want to go for a quick no over a slow maybe. Okay. Again, think of that, the amount of time that you've wasted, even in the last 12 months. How many hours have you spent speaking to people that never became clients, going out and meeting with them? How many hours have you spent with the wrong people? Okay. So this process is going to ensure that never, ever happens again. So let's touch on what happens prior to sales. Okay. And that is using marketing. And in this day and age, guys, education-based marketing. Your sales process should qualify and then educate as well. And this is why it's so important to have an area of specialty. So I just want to re-emphasize this. You need to specialize. You need to have that, even if you're just doing custom homes, or even if you're doing custom homes and renovations and remodeling, okay? That's pretty much falling under the same banner. Every job is unique, and there's going to be a design component to that. You really want to put your flag in the sand and position yourself as a specialist that can help with that. All right. And you can then educate. You can send out a consistent pulse of quality video and photo content to essentially just showcase what you do, show people what you do. Real estate and home ownership is the number one obsession in the world. People absolutely love it. So I'm sure you're well aware. If you just start showcasing what you do, you'll get plenty of eyeballs. All right. And the best way to do it is on your social media platforms. You can also send out emails. I was talking to a guy yesterday. One of the most powerful things he did from a marketing perspective was to sit down and write 52 emails, educational emails around remodeling, set them up in an autoresponder and send them out. Now, these were quality education-based emails. It wasn't just come and work with us, pick me, pick me. It was quality content that added value. And for the first 3 or 4 months, they didn't hear anything, but eventually people started contacting his business, and they already knew, like, and trusted him. Okay, so your sales process is all about building trust and increasing your credibility as quickly as possible. So having an education-based marketing system that educates people in a certain specialty does that well before they come to you. If you don't have this, don't worry. I'm just trying to point to best practice and what's going to optimize your results. But the sales process alone goes a long way towards rapidly building trust and credibility for your business. But ultimately, guys, you want to be a cardiologist, not a GP. Okay. You don't want to be a general practitioner. You don't want to be a Me Too builder. You want to be that specialist builder that that has credibility and respect. And that lends itself to high margin, by the way. Did you want to jump in there, Jen?
Yeah, I have a question, Kurt. So you're trying to
Yeah.
build trust in the marketplace, and you can't make all your homeowners happy. What if you get a
Yeah.
bad review somewhere? What if you like, how do you counter that?
A bad review. Um,
Yeah.
the the last thing you want to do with a bad review is lock horns, all right? And you want to qualify the reviewer. It's feedback basically, right? That you're getting. So who are you getting feedback from? Have you got an example of what you, because it's going to be a case by case basis, right?
No, I don't have an example. I just know that it happens all the time. Like somebody hires
Yeah,
you as a builder or something. They're very homeowners are very picky about, you being in their
mm,
house, you running their project, they're spending a lot of money on it. So
yeah,
it happens all the time where you have to like counteract what somebody posts about you or a review or what they say about you
yeah,
online.
yeah.
So just curious as to how you maybe recover from that or how you continue to build trust if something like that happens.
Okay, there's a couple of things here. So prevention's better than cure, right? So what you want to do is, and part of the sales process, is ensuring that you select your clients wisely. All right. You want to, because you can't win against crazy, right? And I'm sure everyone listening's had at least one toxic client, right? The wrong person that they should have turned around at the front door. So the sales process, and we're about to get into the specifics, does that exceptionally well. It allows you to identify, who is your triple A grade blue chip client? What does your ideal client look like? A bit like if you dating in the dating world, you're going to have deal breakers. Like if you don't like someone who smokes cigarettes or does drugs, you don't need to think about it. You go, okay, no, it's not a something I want to engage with. So it's the same with your prospective clients. You want to make sure that you let in the right people through the front door, and that and qualification. When I mentioned qualification before, there's qualifying the job. So what type of job is it? Is it in your wheelhouse? What's the location? And then there's the client. Those are two separate things. What type of client are you dealing with? So ideally, bring people through who are going to follow your process. That's the key thing. That's the big qualifier. If they're trying to control you and come over the top of you, it's probably not going to end well. And those could be people that give you a bad review. All right. So qualification
Yeah.
is crucial. But there will be people that come through. Sorry, and then beyond that, so qualify them. Once they come in, you've got to look after them. You've got to make sure that you obviously deliver on your promises to your client, but also manage expectations. What we find is that 90% of inefficiencies it can be followed up to the pre-construction process, right? They stem from the pre-construction process. So for example, having quality design, making sure your clients do their selections before they start the job, having a client commencement agreement, just explaining the rules of the game, how you're going to work with the clients, the fact that you're going to run the job according to the contract, payments need to be on time, they can't contact you after hours, you and your team need to rest so you can get their wide-eyed, bushy-tailed. Um, what else is there? Yeah, it's managing trade expectations. If you and then program the job in Build Exact. Like if you do all that well and the costings, all right, it goes on and on. Think about everything that happens pre-construction. If you apply best practice processes pre-construction, then the job will run smoothly. And in a high percentage of instances, you'll have a happy client. And a happy client means more referrals, which are your best quality inquiries. And that sort of closes the loop there. But a client commencement agreement is one of the game changer documents that we use. Charging for quotes using prelim agreements, which is what we're going to cover today, is a game changer, as in there's your business before you use these documents and then your business afterwards. Using a client commencement agreement, which is just you extracting the most important um, parts of the contract that you use and I'd recommend you use an association contract or the most used contract in your area, building contract, all right? And you explain in layman's terms what the most important things are, like access to sites, defects, handover, change orders, all of that. Explain that up front, and that'll minimize any communication issues and friction during the job and those bad reviews. But what do you do if you get a bad, sorry, I'm going down a rabbit hole here, Jen. You asked the question. If you get a bad review, if you've got bad reviews now, so I would, like I said, just after you answer the question, do not lock horns. You do not want to lock horns with someone. You want to make it go away ideally as quickly as possible. If you have made a mistake, just own it. Just go, look, I'm sorry. And from my experience, the thing that makes pain go away if a client's agitated is to gift them something. I've sent people hampers, like a $350 hamper. Find out what's their favorite bottle of scotch or whatever it is. Otherwise, go in and remedy the thing quickly and well and get out of there. Because look, the reality is 20% of the population has some sort of personality disorder, or there's like narcissists do exist, all right? Psychopaths do exist. It's rare, but they're out there. So you don't want to get lock horns with someone like that who then spends the next years trolling you online. So kill them with kindness and make it go away, even if you have to scream into a pillow, right? All right, so hopefully that's answered that one, Jen. So here's the sales process, guys. These are the 6 specific steps we follow. So trying to make it as simple as possible, and as complex as it needs to be. So I'm going to take you through each of these steps, and I'm going to go through some of the critical distinctions. There's certain parts of this process that are so important, things that you say at certain times that ensure that it works. So I'll put emphasis on those when we get there. But step 1, again, most of your inquiries are going to come through email or phone. All right. So the best way to respond is to let those come through. You don't necessarily have to answer your phone, right? Like a lot of guys will answer their phone. They're on a ladder somewhere, on a roof, driving, disorganized. I don't know if you've ever done that. You're trying to have a conversation, trying to grab people's details. A lot of people think you need to take the call to be, otherwise, people are going to get agitated because you don't answer. That's not true. If you don't answer, that's okay. Just have a professional recorded voicemail and then get back to them in a timely manner. All right. That is what irritates people. If you say, hey, your call's important, thank you for calling, we'll get back to you as soon as possible, but you don't, that's what really pisses them off. So the best setup that I've seen, and I had this in a business that I had a remodeling business, I was 1/3 owner of it. We had a virtual message bank, and we had the phone number on all our vehicles, our site signs, banners, and a call would come in, and we would get our office admin lady to check that message bank 3 times a day. So 8:30, 12:30, 3:30 before she left. And then she would call them back, and she had a script, and this is really important. Okay. She would say to them that the script is important. In order for us to help you best, we need as much information as possible. I'm going to send you a questionnaire. Please answer those questions as best you can. Give us as much information as you can. And then our specialist builder will then absorb all of that. He'll go through everything you send us, and then he'll give you a call to have a meaningful conversation about your project and what you want to achieve. Okay. So that's a 2-minute conversation, and then the questionnaire goes out. And we've got a very comprehensive questionnaire, and it's intentionally made to be comprehensive so that you can extract as much information as possible, because that's what you need in order to help them, right? As a solution provider, you need a lot of detail and information about scope of works, what I want to do, have that built before, which also then qualifies them, because if they're built before, were they happy with that builder, and is that builder talking to them now? Is he going to be quoting on this job? Okay, so those sorts of questions are very, very important. Remember, this is all about you not wasting 1 minute of your time with the wrong prospect. So that email goes out, and you can send that, you can set that up as an autoresponder. A lot of people have, you obviously got your contact us page on your website. You might be thinking, should I have a comprehensive questionnaire on my website? I would say no, just keep it simple. Just have a contact us page, and then you can set up a follow-up. You can have an autoresponder follow-up with the questionnaire, but I like the human contact, just that quick 2-minute call. Hi, thank you for making contact. And someone who can't answer a lot of questions, because if you as the builder are taking the call, then you're going to get caught up in them going, well, can you give me a ballpark figure? When can you start? Blah, blah, blah. And you can end up having a 40-minute conversation with someone that you're never ever going to work with. Okay. So once that questionnaire comes back, we have from our test and measure around 7 out of 10 is the number that tends to come back, which is, we've been monitoring this for nearly 15 years now. It's a lot higher than we originally thought. The 3 out of 10 that don't come back, those are your tire kickers, okay? Because the reality is, and again, if you're marketing well and you've got a high volume of inquiry coming through, you are unfortunately going to get tire kickers. You're going to have people coming at you that just want to, they just want a price check. They've already got their builder, their brother-in-law is doing the job, they just want to check, get a quick price check. So again, this is your best possible first impression with your A-grade clients, and this process is repulsive to those people that are tire kickers, because now you've just given them homework, right? If you think about it, a quality prospect that gets that initial response of, in order for us to help you best, we need as much information as possible, and that questionnaire comes out, they'll be thinking, what will you tell me? What are they thinking? Well, this builder has sat down and asked himself, what are the best questions I can ask to best help this person? Professional, organized, process driven. By the way, the best questionnaire is a Google form questionnaire. All right, you can create those for free, or you can get someone on Fiverr or Upwork to create it for you. I don't know if you guys are using Upwork. It's fantastic. It's a Upwork, all one word. There's people all over the world, contractors that do graphic design, that create Google Forms. You can find a specialist Google Form person to create one for $30, and it'll be done by tomorrow morning. The great thing with the Google Form is it captures the analytics. So over 12 months, you could have 112 questionnaires get done. And then in there, very important question is, how did you hear about us? All right. So then you can capture, how many people came through your website, through referral, through sightines, banners, whatever it is. And that helps direct your marketing spend, which is, I mean, that's another conversation. But if you know where your leads are coming from, and you can direct your marketing spend towards those marketing channels that work, well, that's buying money at a discount, right? So that is, cracking the marketing code. All successful businesses do that. All right, so back to this process. So the questionnaire comes back. Like I say, 7 out of 10 from our test and measure come back. You then looking at them, and if you go back to the process I was using with that remodeling business I had, the office admin person would look at them, and she'd have the deal breakers. Deal breakers are like, it's too far away, it's outside of our specialty, that's not what we do, maybe the job's too small. So instead of calling them back and explaining, you're hour and a half away, it's too far to drive, you're probably better off working with someone closer to you because we're going to have to quote more for travel and blah, 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 blah. You don't have to give them a war and peace explanation. You just respond with, and we have a say no email template. By the way, all these documents I should have mentioned is in the book. All right. So use the book Million Dollar Builder as a resource. There's a URL in there with about 40 documents and videos, including everything that I'm sharing with you now. All right. So there's a say no email template, which is quite simply a response to their questionnaire that says, thank you for sending this through. We know someone who's perfect, who's done plenty of this type of work in your area. And then you pass it on. So you may have people coming to you want to do maintenance work, right? Quite regularly, if you're a remodeler, or even if you do custom home, you get these smaller jobs that come at you and you're not interested in them, but you could refer them on to someone in your community that does that. Some guy who's, semi-retired, and he'll take care of them. So you can do that. If it's a job that you're not familiar with, you don't have someone you can refer to, you just Google someone in the area and just pass them on. Okay, that's how you protect your brand. And this is, by the way, this process is a license to turn on the taps with your marketing. You want to overbook the flight, like the airlines do, right? You want more coming in than you can handle. And this sales process is a deselection process. It's like a sluicing machine, and you've got pay dirt coming through. And it's counterintuitive, like most things that work in business and life, it's counterintuitive. A lot of builders will, be thinking, why would you want to have like an overflow of inquiry? That's just insane. You can't go and see them all. You don't need to see them all. All right. You just need a process like this that efficiently deselects and protects your brand at the same time. So that's how you say no, guys. You just politely refer on. All right. And if you've ever contacted a business yourself, you may have contacted a business, and they say, sorry, we can't help you. We can't do that. And that's where they stop. I mean, it's rare these days that that happens, but if you've had that happen, that's uncomfortable, right? Versus them saying, look, we can't help you, but I tell you what, we know someone who's perfect. Give these guys a call. Well, you leave with a warm and fuzzy feeling. Okay. So there's a percentage out of the 7 out of 10 that come back that aren't a good fit, politely refer on. The ones that are fit, the admin lady passes on to the builder, to you. You then absorb everything and you call them and have the audition, what we call an audition call. Okay. So this is like them auditioning for you to reverse your vehicle out the driveway and go see them, to go meet with them. Okay. Because again, think of all the times that you've gone out and met with people and it's been a complete and utter waste of your time. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So this is where you do what you would normally do on a site visit, or when you meet with them face to face. You want to do this. You could do it on a Zoom call, FaceTime call, phone call, but you go through a more detailed line of questioning, and there's a script for this in the book where you gain a better understanding of the scope of works. Where are they in the pre-construction process? Are they a standing start? Have they got no plans, designs, engineering, whatever, or do they have all their documentation ready to go, and they just need a quote done, like a cost analysis, right? So that step of the process is really a deeper dive, and then you also assessing them as a person, because remember, there's the job. Okay, job type, project type, and then there's the client, the person, the individual. So what type of animal are you dealing with, right? Um, if that goes well, all right, if it doesn't go well, you politely refer on. That's how you say no, or just let them know they're not a good fit. You're a solution provider, right? Either fit or they're not. If they are, great, let them know, book in a time to meet. Now they may come to your office or your display home, or you go to the site or whatever it is, but you book that in, you book it about 5 days out. Then after hanging up the call on that audition call, within 3 minutes, you send them an email, all right, confirming the time and place of the appointment. And in that email, you include a frequently asked questions document. That's another very, very important document that explains why you charge for quotes. So it explains square meter rates versus fixed price versus do and charge, provisional sums, PC items, all the different, the specifics associated with doing an accurate cost analysis, and the reality that unfortunately 80% of quotes are not worth the paper they're written on. Okay. It's an embarrassing part of the industry, but unfortunately, most of them are not worth the paper they're written on. However, not on your watch. If you're going to be dealing with someone, if they're going to be your client, you're going to treat them like a family member, like someone you love and care about dearly. You don't want them to be told, this is going to cost you $1 million, and then during the build to find out it's 1.5 mil. Okay, that happens every day of the week. So again, not on your watch. That document does the heavy lifting. This process, okay, is a process solution that um, ensures you never have to really learn anything about sales. If you just follow this process to the letter, you will have people paying you for a quote or signing up for a prelim, which we'll get to. And and it'll bring the best people through and disqualify those that are not a good fit. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to go and do sales courses and learn how to close and do any fancy behind the back tricks or whatever it is. You just need to follow the process and the results take care of themselves. So you send an email with this frequently asked questions document. And you instruct them to please read that. Let them know that you're sending them some information before you meet that's going to save you at least an hour together, which it will. All right. Now, if they don't read the information you send them, then that's qualifying them out. They're not a serious buyer, are they? So it's a bit like you going to go buy a new vehicle and you don't bother reading the brochure. You're like, nah, don't worry, just give me whatever, just sell me whatever. It's not going to happen. And if you're spending $50,000, $100,000, these people are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you're saying, as a specialist solution provider, I'm going to send you some important information, please read it, and they don't, well, that can't be serious, can they? All right, so that's a PDF document that you send. We then also recommend that you send a hard copy brochure, right? So the brochure is all about your specialty, the fact that you're a custom home building specialist, the fact that you handpick your subcontractors, you've got a process for programming your jobs. You've got a 741-point quality assurance checklist. You can show them that you use something like Build Exact to ensure that everything is programmed correctly and the job is going to run very smoothly. All right. So you're giving them 17 reasons why they're going to be in very good hands and that you are that cardiologist, that specialist at what you do. All right. So that gets sent via snail mail. Now, some people think this is over communicating, and why would you bother, paying for a hard copy brochure and mailing that to someone? Well, what you're doing is, and you may have already picked this up, um, you're demonstrating that you have the ability to communicate exceptionally well across multiple mediums of communication, and that flies in the face of builders being notoriously bad at communicating. Okay, so you've communicated via email, phone, uh, PDF document. In your email, you could have links to videos, which I recommend you put in there, especially if you won awards and that sort of thing. And then they're getting something tactile that can hold and read as well. Now, it also gives you the opportunity or the reason to call them 48 hours later. This is why you want to book this appointment 5 days out. So they get something on snail mail, 48 hours later, a call, personal touch. Office lady, ideally, just making sure you got that information okay. Yes, great. Have a look at it before you meet with a builder. All right, then so that's step 4 over here. And then the confirmation call is the day before the appointment, just reconfirming, sending an email with the agenda as well is really, really important. And that can be automated. So this entire sales process can be put into a CRM, client relationship management system. And a lot of the autoresponder templates can go out. Like going back to the email questionnaire, if that questionnaire doesn't come back, so that's 3 out of 10, you can have an autoresponder text message that goes out to say, hey, just confirming you received that email questionnaire, okay. Sometimes it goes to junk, so it's great to have that little backup solution there. And this day and age, you could automate it. But agenda the day before, and then a text message an hour before you go and see them. You've no doubt had a no-show before, so never again. An hour before you go, send a text message, just letting you know, yeah, on my way, looking forward to seeing you. So that gives them the opportunity to pull out if some emergencies happen, that the kid's sick, they've got to go to school or something like that. And then you turn up on time, presentable, with a preliminary agreement solution or cost analysis solution in hand. Okay. And we'll get into the specifics of that in a sec. So that's the 6-step sales process there. There is another very, very important step. Once you've submitted your prelim agreement solution or cost analysis, 50% of the people are going to go ahead. And if you follow this really well, there'll be a percentage of people, if they've called other builders and the other builders haven't even responded, they'll want to engage your services. Okay. Again, this is about building credibility and trust very, very quickly. So let's just go through these documents quickly, just to recap. And let me know if there's any questions. I want to go through the documents, but in a word, guys, I've had to sum up sales. It's leadership. Okay. It's you leading them through this process. Remember your process, not theirs. And you need to recognize that they have a process for selecting a builder. They'll jump online, Google 10, speak to 5, get quotes from 3, pick 1. That's their process. Okay. Your process needs to be better than theirs. This process is better than theirs. And you would have dealt with a professional business before where they've taken you through their sales process, and because they are so professional, because it is so well engineered to give you the best possible result, you acquiesce to that process. You let them take you through it because you know that it's going to benefit them. So the leadership component and you taking control and your process, not theirs, is not because you want to be controlling. It's because that process is engineered to give them the best possible outcome. So you're trying to help them. So it's like if you were a cardiologist and you're trying to help someone with a problem, if they're going to fight you on that, well, you can't help them, can you? So this is how you qualify your prospects whilst educating them and giving them the best possible outcome. So here's the Google form questionnaire example, you'll ideally want to have a checklist of all the different things that they need. And again, there's an example of this questionnaire in the book. So have a look at that and you can swipe and deploy. The say no email template, again, have a look at that as well. That is, it's one of those critical distinctions, small hinges that swings big doors. All right. Most guys don't know how to say no and won't market aggressively enough and overbook the flight because they don't have this how to say no politely and have people, leaving with that warm and fuzzy feeling. So we've spoken about education-based marketing. If you don't have your marketing system set up where you're sending out a consistent pulse of quality content that educates people on how you can help them, this sales process will do the heavy lifting. All right. It will still, just sending out the brochure, sending out the FAQ with instructions for them to read it is going to go a long way. So let's talk about the pre-live and cost analysis. Okay. If you've never done one of these before, if you've never charged for a quote, it's going to be a sweaty palms moment the first time you do it. Every single time one of my builders does this for the first time, they are, it doesn't matter who you are, it's going to be nervous, especially if most of the other builders in your area do not charge for quotes. So what you want to do is, again, make sure that they read the information in the frequently asked questions document. You may need to clarify, so you need to be well versed on exactly why you charge for quotes. You are not charging because you spend a lot of time doing it and every other profession charges. Okay. That's not the explanation, although that is very true. And in your head, you're like, well, yeah, why should you be doing quotes for free? All right. No one else does. Like your lawyer, dentist, accountant, they're not going to do work for free. So why should you? That's not a compelling reason, though. People need to understand why you are charging as it relates to the benefit to them. So what is the benefit to them? Well, it comes back to accuracy, right? They are paying for accuracy. So sadly, most quotes are not accurate, not because builders are dodgy or, obviously some of them are rogue, but it's because guys are doing so many and they're not converting as many because they're doing them for free. So they don't have the time and energy to focus on, doing them properly. So not on your watch. That's your explanation. If you are going to work with them, you're going to do a proper job. You're going to do an accurate cost analysis. And if you can align yourself with a really good estimator or an estimating company that has a good track record, and the best way to test them is send them a quote that you've already done just to see that they can, in fact, get the numbers watertight. But build a dream team so that you can offer a cost analysis service that is consistently accurate. And then over time, you'll build up a reputation for being that builder that says, when the job's going to cost 500K, that's what it costs, barring any variations from the client. If it's going to cost $1 million, that's what it costs. And that is invaluable. So what they pay you for the quote, all right, it's lunch money, okay? But it's giving them that peace of mind that they're going to get accuracy. But you do need to obviously have a process and you need to be able to show them, like take a generic quote with you, take a generic cost analysis with a detailed breakdown from BuildExact, for example, and say, hey, this is what you get. Show them what they get, show them what they're paying for. A lot of builders, and I was talking about this yesterday, I ran a one-day workshop with a group of builders. A lot of builders don't want to charge because there's no accountability. Right? If you do something for free, then if it's late or it's not accurate, there's no recourse. If you're charging someone, all of a sudden there's recourse. So I would much rather, as a customer, pay you to do my quote because then I can say, well, where's my quote? What am I paying for? Why is it not on time? Or there's going to be a consequence. So there's accountability associated with this, but you're offering a service which is incredibly important. Okay. So what you'll get out of jail free card here, if you're sweating bullets and it's the first one that you're presenting, because it might be uncomfortable. People might go, you don't really know how they're going to respond. They might go, this is absurd. Like, what do you mean you charging? No one else charges. Okay. So your get out of jail free card is, if you had that sort of response and you still want to work with them, bear in mind the sales process is the overriding outcome is to qualify, qualify, qualify. So if someone's getting extremely agitated and being rude, is that the type of client you want to work with? You got to ask yourself that. However, if they are someone who you want to work with and it's the type of job that's in your wheelhouse and you really want to do it, and the people are a little uncomfortable with the first time that you present the quote, what you can say to them is, look, I'd love to work with you in this job. It's in line with the best work that we do. I'd love to work with you. And you know what? I'm going to waive the fee. That's your get out of jail free card for the first one that you do, just in case it gets uncomfortable. And that'll allow you to go in nice and calm. Okay, that way you've explained to them why you do a cost analysis, which is get the numbers accurate, and that sadly most are not, but you're going to do a proper job. And as a result, there's a nominal fee. It's a loss leader. What they pay you to do the quote doesn't really cover the cost of your time. Okay, so you would have explained that. So you've educated them. This is an education-based sales process. And then you've just gifted that to them. That's if you still want to proceed and do the quote for free. Okay. Any questions there, Jen? I've been talking for a while. I just want to check if there's any questions, or if you've got any yourself.
No, we're good right now.
Okay. I do want to touch on one thing that you can do early on in the sales process, which is really, really powerful. And that is a quick building estimate. We've got guys that are able to generate a quick turnaround ballpark figure on the at an early stage. So if you have the ability to, like, square meter rates are not great, but if you can generate a quick turnaround number, and there's different ways to do it, depending on the type of work that you do, you want to ideally do that prior to the site visit. So when you're doing the audition call, if you've got someone who's very early on in the piece, as in they don't have much documentation, they don't have much design or anything else, but they want a rough indication of what it's going to cost. And this is where specializing comes in handy, because if you've done a lot of a certain type of job, then you are quickly and easily able to generate some sort of number that you can put out there. And if you can do that before you go to a site visit, you may find, especially with inflation these days and how building costs have surged, some people, well, those with beer money, champagne taste, will get ejected from that process before you go out and see them. Because the last thing you want to do is get someone to pay for a cost analysis, and then you spend, weeks or months with them to find out that they actually can't afford to proceed. And sadly, that happens to a lot of people. They go through the entire design process, only to find out that, they can't go the next step. Now, in terms of optimization, we're all about best practice and optimization. I mentioned before that there's CRM systems out there that allow you to automate. The CRM systems used to be separate from email marketing systems. So things like MailChimp, where you send out automated emails to your list, which I recommend you do, by the way. It's one of the most powerful marketing strategies out there. But these days, there's integrated systems where you have your CRM and all your marketing systems on one platform, and you can trace your leads through Meta, through your email marketing, from your website. So I'd highly recommend you look at doing that. And you can plug this entire sales process, which again, you'll find in the book with the documentation, into that CRM, and then automate some of the steps, especially the text message follow-up or the agenda the day before the site visit. And guys, in terms of setting this up, I mentioned Upwork to help with the documentation. The single most powerful thing you can do to accelerate your business systems implementation in your business is to get the right people to help you. All right. Our seven-figure club builders, the number one thing that they do is they don't ask, how do I do this? They ask, who can do this? Who already knows how to do this well? All right. And if you apply that in lots of different areas with your cost analysis, find a good estimator. With your bookkeeping, find someone who understands a chart of accounts for accurate job codes and cost codes. All right. Your accounting, your marketing, every aspect of your business. Take the time and energy to seek out the best specialists that can help you quickly and easily implement best practice processes. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'd love to, have a chat. I love working with people one-on-one. If you've got any specific questions or you'd like to, just bounce a couple of ideas with me, I really enjoy helping builders, go through a positive transformation and deal with any challenges. So please do get in touch. You can do so directly via my website, builderscoach.com. Otherwise, kurt@builderscoach.com.au. And I will respond personally.
Kurt, thank you so much for such a great session and absolutely awesome content. I mean, it's literally like an art. So it is such hard work, and it's such hard work for people who sometimes whose skill set is not in this realm. So they want to be on the job site, and this is something that is kind of outside of their comfort zone, I should say. So thank you again so much, and I'm sure we'll be reaching out and thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you, guys. And thank you, Jen, again for setting this up. Take care.
Bye.